They nearly threw it away in the last quarter, but they came back like the team they should.
What about a margin today? Spectres by how many?
1 point.
Okay, let's see if the coaches around the league agree with you.
Stand by for Game 3 of the decider in the 1991 championship.
And so we're back at the Perth Entertainment Centre. The decider. Let's check the starting fives.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting fives. First for the Eastside Melbourne Spectres, number 4, Darren Lucas. Number 7, Dean Uthoff. Number 21, Darren Perry. Number 31, Kent Lockhart. Number 32, Bruce Bolden. With the coach, Brian Gorgian. And now, stand by. Here is the starting five for the Perth Wildcats. First off, number 5, Tiny Pinder. Number 6, Mike Ellis. Number 7, James Crawford. Number 15, Ricky Grace. And the number 40, Pete Hansen. And the coach, Murray Arnold.
The Perth Wildcats, a regular season record of 22-4 prior to Friday. They'd won 11 straight. That was only their second loss at home this season. The other against Geelong, they lost by 2. 27-4 in this building. Prior to game 1, of course, the Spectres, 17-9 on the season, had won 7 straight. And I get the feeling, Bill, a lot more energy in this stadium today than we saw on Friday night.
I think there was just a tad of complacency in the stadium amongst the crowd and perhaps even amongst the Wildcats on Friday. It's not in evidence today. That certainly the atmosphere is very, very electric.
James Crawford in there, number 7.
Good luck, guys.
Didn't score a point. Put up only 4 shots on Friday. One of the all-time greats of the National Basketball League. And he wins this one down. Pinder's got it. Underway. Game 3, the decider in the grand final series.
Eastside, not surprisingly, opening in the zone defense.
A sellout crowd. Pinder the first shot.
Perth off to a good start. They won the tip-off again. They've dominated against the Spectres all season. Darren Perry with Ricky Grace. Perry waiting for Bolden. The crowd alive. Atmosphere fantastic. Lockhart. Bolden in the paint.
Well,
Bruce Bolden levels the scores at 2-all.
pretty tough to guard a guy that can fade away at a 45-degree angle. going out of bounds at the same time. It's a good start for both teams.
Bolden beating the double team. Crawford, they want him to score early. Get him in the groove. Here's Grace. Crawford open, puts the shot up, in then out. Bolden the rebound. Lockhart's away, lacking support. Goes 1-to-1, draws a crowd, gets the shot up, is fouled. Against Lockhart.
Just forced it a little bit. It looked like Kent Lockhart got by Ellis. Let's watch the movement there. Pinder perhaps maybe got into the back a little bit of Lockhart, but the defense certainly was there in plenty of time.
Ricky Grace down the baseline. Slapped out of there by Bolden. It comes to Perry. Bolden doing well at both ends. Been a superstar this season, Bruce Bolden. Lucas. Spectres hit the front.
Mike Ellis, like Crawford, held scoreless on Friday. They combine there. Grace open, puts it on the floor, was fouled by Lucas, no off the ball. It's called against Uthoff. He fouled out in game 1. He struck early foul trouble in game 2. He's so important to them, Dean Uthoff.
Away from the ball, Uthoff on the cutter. I doubt if we'll see it in the replay. They're just out of the screen. Pinder cutting along the baseline. Uthoff gave him a little hefty ham to go on with.
Crawford off to Hansen. Foul underneath by Bolden.
Side ball.
Not a shooting foul. Crawford dishing off that time. So 3 quick fouls to the Spectres. Only 10 minutes remaining to play in the first quarter. So in 2 minutes, 3 fouls. And 1 more, and Eastside's into the penalty situation.
And it was the other way on Friday night with the Wildcats getting into early foul trouble. Ricky Grace for 3. Last shot.
Wildcats lead it by 1. The early going. Lockhart. Guarded by Ellis. Bolden, 27 points on Friday, off 22 in game 1. Here's again, top of the key. Guarded by Crawford. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Reaching in from behind. They call it against Pinder.
That was 5.
Eastside offense just a little bit slow in forming up into their main thrust at the basket at the moment, testing out perhaps Perth defense a little bit. Ellis working particularly hard, I think, in denying Lockhart the ball, and then when he does get the ball, making sure he can't drive. Pinder's first foul on the Wildcats, and Bolden will get 2 foul shots.
80% at the line this season. Misses the first of them.
Well, they've had a horrible foul shooting record against Perth in the 60s in both game 1 and 2. I think they were 63% or something in game 2. You've got to shoot better for those freebies.
Draws a blank, Bruce Bolden.
Wildcats lead 5-4. 9 minutes 16 left in the first quarter. Crawford gets a shot away. Once again, he doesn't score. Pinder the offensive rebound, and he scores.
Eastside that time pinned underneath the basket in defensive rebounding position. You got to make that triangle 10 feet away from the basket. The ball doesn't come out underneath the ring unless the basket's made. Lucas.
It was there. That's a charge.
A charge against Lucas, so they had 2 charges in offense.
4 fouls for Eastside. 1 for the Wildcats. Wildcats lead it by 3. Grace in the traffic, dishes it off. Hansen along the baseline, looking for the tap in there was Grace. Back comes Hansen. They got the 3rd opportunity, and they call it against Lockhart. His 2nd, and bodies crashing to the boards in there, and that time the Wildcats winning the battle.
Again, the Wildcats pinning the Spectres underneath the basket. Hansen missed that shot, but they were white shirts were all in the good rebounding positions. And very early on, the Wildcats are winning the physical battle out there with 8 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And Brian Gorgon gets a warning on the bench. Perhaps thinks that there's a little bit too much contact, but that's what Eastside did to Perth, I suppose, in game 2. And very important in this sort of contest that you establish a physical presence for yourself.
Pete Hansen, who was perfect at the line in game 1, 5 from 5, missed a couple on Friday. Misses this one. 62% over the season.
Tin play.
Wildcats 8-4. And with the Spectres racking up 5 fouls to 1, quite an advantage in the early going for the home side.
Well, particularly when Eastside's bench isn't as deep as Perth, but they start having bodies foul out of there, they're going to be in big trouble.
Darren Perry for 3. James Crawford with the rebound. Away to Grace. He's got Pinder up ahead. Out to Ellis he goes. Good movement by the Wildcats. Working the clock down. 20 seconds to go. Ellis back to Grace. He looked as though he's going for 3. Found Ellis. Into Hansen. Impressive start by the Wildcats.
Hansen and Pinder against this zone have been coming across the middle range of the key, and they've been open, and they're very, very good shooters from there. Eastside will have to close off those passing lanes.
They've obviously talked about the zone. They're finding the seams at the moment. Bolden goes inside. Lucas in trouble through the double team. Hansen came up with it, sends Grace away. Wildcats by 6. Off Lockhart. Wildcat ball from the side.
I tell you, this is a very important point in the game because Eastside really do not look with it at the moment. They need to stabilize a little bit. They're just trying a little bit too hard offensively, particularly going one-on-one.
Crawford. Now Grace. Baseline Pinder. Kicks it outside. Ellis puts it on the floor. Cuts the key. Dishes it off. Hansen. Fall-away jumper no good. Uthoff the rebound. Wildcats by 6, 10-4. And Eastside bring it down through Perry.
Well, the crowd really getting behind the Wildcats much more today than they did on Friday night, giving the home side a boost. Lockhart misses with a long bomb. Lockhart moving around, posting up Uthoff. Turns it over, Ricky Grace. He travelled.
Double dribble.
Trying to be careful with the hand on his back there.
He's just trying to control the dribble. He touched it with 2 hands. Let's look at it here. Pushes it out. I didn't really see it on replays. We have a timeout for this live game from the Perth Entertainment Center. The Wildcats lead 10-4.
6 minutes 56 remaining in the first quarter. The Wildcats 10-4, and the Spectres have 5 fouls to 1 in the early going. Well, after Gray stole the ball and he turned it over at half court, here go the Spectres. Uthoff. Pinder and Hansen on Uthoff. A travel by Uthoff.
Yes, again, the Perth wall doesn't move much. Uthoff often wheels in there and pushes people aside, but that time he bounced into Pinder. Pinder said, "You shall not pass."
6:35 remaining in this opening period. 10-4, Wildcats lead. Grace thought about the shot. Gave it out to Ellis, who hits for 2, foot on the line. Nice touch, they left him open. Dared him to take the shot. He punished them. The margin is 8 points. Lockhart wants the baseline, puts it up, no good. Crawford strong on the defensive boards. That's his 3rd defensive rebound. Hansen to the trailer Crawford. Grace for 3. Bad news for the Spectres. 15-4.
Shots, they've both been 3, and Eastside's offense is in disarray at the moment. There's no avenues. Perth defense really cranking up. And there are really no scoring opportunities. You can see now Lucas trying to figure out how they're going to attack this Perth defense.
Bolden. Crawford doing the defensive job. Bruce Bolden gets to the basket.
James, that's a block. He went there. He came from the side. Got 2. Okay.
Foul Crawford.
Well, it's interesting
That was 7.
that really didn't come from the Eastside offense at the moment. That was a good individual effort by Bolden to slip inside, draw the foul from the side by Crawford. But that's not coming from a pattern Eastside attack. Perth in the early moments here, with 5 minutes 30 seconds remaining to play in the quarter, has taken Eastside out of their offensive structure.
15-4, the Wildcats lead. 5.5 minutes to go to quarter time. Well, Bolden missed 2 in an earlier trip. Gets this one.
One to come.
The crowd really putting the pressure on Bruce Bolden. But he makes both this time. 15-6.
Sporting that nick over the left eye, sustained in game 2. Couple of stitches placed in that. Grace, the game's high scorer with 6. Started this chain of passes. Pinder left open. Fall-away jumper, no good. Uthoff had it, then lost it. Look at them going after that rebound, and Crawford comes up with it. It's a grand final. Hansen off the glass.
Well, that was interesting. Uthoff turned to question the referees and then only spotted Hansen coming down at the last minute. Hansen was able to avoid the big body.
Ninnis into the action for Lucas. Behind the back by Bolden to Perry. Bolden drops the rebound. And Eastside need to score on their trips up the floor, but they haven't been doing that. Grace into Pinder. Tremendous assist by Ricky Grace. And Perth are blowing this wide open, leading 19-6. A timeout at the Perth Entertainment Centre. (19-6) in the grand final, game 3. The Wildcats on their home court with a frenetic home crowd have opened up like a rocket. On Friday night they led 22-21 at quarter time. Well, they're already 19 with 4.5 minutes to build on it.
They've got Vlahov into the game now for the first time. 4:20 remaining to play in the first quarter. Mike Ellis is doing a very good job on Lockhart. It's not giving much freedom to move, even if you can get the ball.
Need to get a score from this play. Ninnis, a little flip shot. He made some terrific baskets on Friday, and that's not a bad start for him today.
Grace has 6, Pinder 6, Hansen 5 for the Wildcats. 4:02 remaining in the opening period. Vlahov inside, draws a crowd, puts it on the floor and takes it strong to the hoop. Magnificent.
That's the fourth basket they've got by hitting the postman at the medium post, letting him slide in. Bolden, I think Vlahov might have blocked that. Grace gets it into the fast break. Perth Wildcats, but that ball's tipped away.
Off Perry. Wildcats ball from the side then. Electrifying start by the champs. Vlahov under the basket. Beautiful pass coming in. The assist from Ellis. 23 plays 8. Remarkable. At quarter time on Friday night, they'd scored only 22 points. They've surpassed that, the Wildcats, with over 3 minutes to play. Eastside ball from the side. The officials getting a lot of advice from the bench and the players on the court. Mildenhall makes a point. Crouch has got the ball. The Wildcats have the lead. Here's Perry. Puts it up for 3. No good. Crawford again. Putting his stamp on this game early. Grace comes at them. Beautiful pass. Vlahov loses it across the baseline. Eastside ball.
Well, there was room there, though, wasn't it? Again, Eastside getting back not very quickly. Again, they really need an offensive focus. They're sloughing off on Bolden. Bolden doesn't have any room. It's going to have to come from somebody else, one suspects, early on. Ellis doing a great job, as I said before, on Lockhart.
The Spectres wondering where their next basket's coming from. Well played by Ellis. It'll be a Spectres ball, but Ellis, the veteran, at full tilt that time. Kent Lockhart. Ninnis for 3. No, sir.
No rebounds.
Yes, this time Perth sweeping the boards. Hansen way across to Grace. Steps around. Back to Ellis. Put inside the line. He gets 2. 25-8. What a scoreline. Agrams comes in for the Spectres as Dean Uthoff sits down. Lucas Agrams had one field shot on Friday night and made it. He's played a couple of minutes. Well, where is the Spectres' next basket going to come from? They trail 25-8. Bolden makes it, falling away from the basket.
And look at how hard Bolden had to work to get that. It really was miraculous. He got that shot off. He got by his man, and two more Wildcats came at him. Tremendous athleticism by Bruce Bolden.
James Crawford puts it up. No good. Attempted tip in by Hansen. It came off the Spectre. I think Perry. 25-10. Pinder back into the game. Crawford goes out. So at least for the moment, the sleeping giant has awoke. Mike Ellis. Wildcats by 15. Game 3, the decider. Grace kicks it back outside. Ellis. Now Vlahov. Pinder open. Ball away jumper switch for two.
At the moment, Perth is just moving the ball at will through and around the defense of the Spectres. They've got to start getting to the passing lanes, making it difficult there.
Spectres tried a fast break then, but called it off. Bolden underneath, and Pinder go to the floor. Second foul for Tiny Pinder.
It's a block.
Slot pass coming into Bolden. Bolden's in the air. Pinder perhaps moving underneath Bolden. And that was the foul called. Not a shooting foul. The Wildcats only have 3 in the quarter. So with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining to play, they might not even get into the penalty.
Perry. Clean as a whistle for 3. Kate Sobrano in the crowd. She warmed us up singing the national anthem before the game.
You were very warm. There goes Pinder. No good. Rebounded by Lockhart. This is Perry. Bolden appeared to be pushed.
That was a bad miss by the referees, that one. Bolden didn't have a chance to go up. Pinder pushed him away just at the time the pass came in, and that's a real disadvantage to Bruce Bolden. Would have expected that one to be called.
Wildcats by 14 inside the last minute of the opening period. We've got 40 seconds to play. Ellis back to Pinder. Off the ball, they call it against Pinder.
Keep it down.
Pinder raising his elbows a little bit. That's his 3rd foul.
When you went by, you want the elbow out.
And screening technique, I think they're talking about. Perhaps his wingtips were a little bit too wide that time. And he was called with an offensive foul.
Down to 32 seconds then. The Wildcats will get the ball back. Lockhart to Perry. Agrams, they stay off him. And now Ninnis.
19 seconds remaining. Ninnis, good second half on Friday night. Bolden with a twist and a turn, but short with his shot. It's tipped down to Grace, but it comes off Perry. Wildcats ball. We have 9 seconds remaining. 27-13, a 14-point lead to the reigning champions. Ricky Grace working it down. Hansen. His last shot doesn't go, but what an opening turn for the Perth Wildcats. They lead 27-13.
Plays 13. Again, Crawford gets it down. A pattern developing there.
Man-to-man defense to the Spectres.
In game 1, the margin at quarter time was 15 points the Wildcats' way. Grace, very flat air ball. It came off.
Sanders blocked. Ninnis partially blocked it, as I think what the referees determined there. It's unusual. You suspect something happened there. It's unusual that Grace's shot will fall a foot short.
Here's Vlahov, top of the key. Bolden the rebound. At quarter time on Friday, the Wildcats led by 1. Uthoff on the baseline. They came from everywhere and closed him down.
You needed another head fake there. Grace knifing in. Ellis with a 10-footer. Doesn't go. Vlahov, one hand, scoops it in, and then steps out of bounds as he couldn't get the ball out to a teammate.
Well, once again, a lot of the players having plenty to say to the referees, who have had a tough job in this grand final series and a pretty physical contest. Darren Perry for the Spectres made a three-pointer late in the first quarter. Here he is in three-point range again. Lucas.
Interesting, the Spectres have gone with 3 guards, perhaps trying to use their quickness to evade the bulk of the Wildcats.
Bruce Bolden, another top play, but it doesn't go. Crawford gets the rebound, comes out to Ellis, and once again the Spectres missing chances when they move up forward. Here's James Crawford. Foul by Bolden. 2 fouls on Bruce Bolden.
Great pass from Ellis. Crawford there going up for the slam. Bolden climbs right up with him. Fouled him somewhere up and down the line, probably in a couple of places.
Now, James Crawford, who for the first time in his life went scoreless in a game on Friday night. The man who's topped 7,000 points in history in the NBL, second top scorer. He'll bring the house down if this goes in. Nice to get that one out of the way. James Crawford off and running, and so are the Wildcats, 29-13.
As Drew said, didn't score a point in game 2, just 8 in game 1. This season's average 22. Bolden, interesting. Perry, Uthoff at the low post.
That's goaltending. Crawford way up there, but the ball was on the way down, and so Uthoff gets his first 2 points in the game.
29-15.
If that scoreline, you'll take them any way you can get them.
Pinder has 8, Gray 6, Hansen 5, Bolden 6. Crawford suddenly on track. The margin is 16. Eastside work it once more through 4 sets of hands. Bolden, the man they want with it. It's called against Vlahov.
And then he went up. 2.
Well, Bolden, the hero in game 2, working so hard again as Vlahov picks up his first foul. Bolden will go to the line.
You just wonder about the physical expenditure of energy on the Spectres' part. Every shot that Bolden goes up, he has to go through a couple of bumps just to get up. That time he was very wise. He felt the bump from Vlahov and immediately went into his shot in order to get to the line for 2 foul shots. Leading scorer for the Spectres, he's got 6. Perry has 3. Ninnis and Lucas and Uthoff all with 2, and another missed foul shot for the Spectres, so nothing going right for them at the moment as they trail by 16.
Well, the crowd intimidating the visitors when they shoot from the free throw line. Bolden has missed 4 from the strike. 31-15. Well, they just have to go if the Spectres can get back into this.
Larkin's in as Watterson's come in for the Wildcats. Larkin's picked him up. Uthoff picking up Vlahov. That'll be an interesting matchup.
Bit of an elbow.
Lucky foul. Grace just wrong-footed Ninnis. We see it on replay. Grace faking up. Ninnis stepping up and into him. You can see a clear foul there. Second team foul on the Spectres. Ninnis gets back with the steal.
Yeah, I think he had his foot out, as Grace is pointing out. He makes the score.
2.
Ricky Grace still having a look at the sideline. I think suspiciously there might have been a toe over the line.
I don't know that he had the ball in his hand. If there was, we see the end of that. Ninnis hanging in the air, riding through the contact of Hansen, which was good contact. Great shot from Ninnis. As I said before, the Spectres need everything they can get. And, Scott Ninnis was the one that really iced the game for him in game 2. Maybe he can generate something here for the Spectres.
Ninnis makes it a 3-point play.
Recruited from the Adelaide 36ers, he's been a very important role player so far in this grand final. Watterson has it knocked away by Larkins. Wildcats ball.
Thank you.
118.
Hansen remonstrating with the referee, showing a hat.
Hands off the referee.
But he shouldn't be touching the referee in that situation. Both these teams really tightly wrapped.
Madison saying he was slapped and had the marks to prove it. Wanted Billy Milden more to dust him for Prince, I think. Here's Vlahov. Crawford puts it on the floor. Goes around Bolden. Nice move. Well, the Spectres don't need for Crawford to get hot. Here's Lucas. 33-18. 9:05 remaining in the first half. The job squarely with the Spectres. Pump fake from Uthoff. Draws the foul. Got Crawford off his feet. His second.
7.
Uthoff a good target when he can get in front of his man. Little pump fake gets Crawford up in the air early. Uthoff timing it, and Crawford got the ball, but he also elbow to elbow as Uthoff came up. So that's what you got to do against the leapers. You make them leave the ground before you do, then the advantage switches back to you.
Spectres needing to make these. Uthoff gets the first. 33-19. So we're back to the margin as it was at quarter time. Well, Crawford's got going offensively tonight. Man averaging 21 points a game for the season. A bit too much to expect. He could be kept as quiet as he'd been offensively in the first two games. Here he goes again, James Crawford, and it's all come back.
Well, Crawford prepared to take Bolden outside when the Spectres are in their man-to-man lineman. Doesn't seem to like this playing against the zone as much as he does against the man-to-man. Blocking foul called on Uthoff away from the ball. The Spectres needed that like another hole in their head as Uthoff picks up his second foul. Very tough to call those screening fouls because there's a lot of heavy-duty screening going on by both teams. And it'll be a challenge for the referees to be consistent.
Well, in this grand final, they've called a lot for action off the ball. Vlahov.
No, Andy, you jumped into his back to grab the rebound. You hit him right there in the middle of the back. That was 2-1 for a push over the back going that way.
His second. Crawford has 2 fouls.
Vlahov doing the right thing there. You always follow your shot when you're inside the key. Trouble is there are a couple of Spectres between him and the ball.
Now Larkins hasn't scored in 3 games against the Wildcats this year.
Torrance matching up on Lockhart. That was one of the matches we thought it'd have. The Spectres with the turnover. Gee, when the flow goes, it really goes.
3 trips up the floor for no score. These two teams. Watterson looking to go inside. Vlahov is fouled from behind, I think, by Larkins.
Larkins trying to help out. Vlahov making himself a target in front of the Uthoff, obviously anticipating that he can use his superior speed to get by Uthoff. So the battery continues as Vlahov goes out. Another big wide body comes in for Uthoff to have to contest with tiny Pinder.
Wildcats led it by 15. Grace. Bolden the rebound. So just for the moment, this game has dried up. Larkins, Bolden, looking for Lockhart going behind Torrance. They call it off Torrance.
Both teams on 4 fouls, so penalties up for both sides.
Larkins. Now Bolden immediately drawing the double team off Minnis. So they turn it over again.
Well, you just can't afford to do that when you're 15 points down as they are. You've got to play immaculate basketball. Take advantage of every possession.
Watterson off his foot. Away comes Minnis. Easy layup.
Lay down. 7 points now to Ninnis, the top scorer for the Spectres. Bolden has 6, but hasn't scored in the second quarter.
Margin back to 13. The biggest margin was 17 with a minute left in the first quarter. Crawford, he's got going. And don't the crowd love it? Big JC, the Alabama Slammer, gets double figures. He's now got 10. And incredibly, in 2 games prior to this in the grand final, he got 8 and 0.
Yes, well, you can't fault the defense that time. Kent Locker chest to chest did a good job. It was just athleticism on the part of Crawford to lean to the side and bank that shot in. Locker, a very tough defensive player. If somebody scores on him, he's earned them.
Kent Lockhart. Torrance with him. Larkins going for a...
Oh, dear.
Well, he just didn't hit anything there, Wayne Larkins. His drought has been 3 times as long as Crawford's. And now a foul.
1-1.
2 fouls in a minute to Wayne Larkins.
1-1. Out timeout. Stay out of there. Out timeout. Yeah, don't.
We've got a timeout here from the Perth Entertainment Center. 6:47 remaining to play in the second quarter. Perth Wildcats doing it on the bit at the moment. 37 over Eastside Melbourne 22.
$15 points the margin, 37-22, midway through the second quarter in Game 3 in the grand final. The Wildcats won the championship last year. When they clinched it, it was in Brisbane. They came back and 10,000 greeted them at the airport, and they had a parade through the city, but they haven't won a championship at home. They hope today's the day. And gee, the way it's going, it's looking very much like it.
Sub is successful, 1-1.
Grace at the line. And he earns another shot for that.
On the first one, you can't. You're lucky it was in. On the second one. You're lucky it was in. 1.
Uthoff encroaching.
So we're saying he's lucky it was in because if he'd interfered with that, it would have counted, that's for sure, on the second one.
39-22. Ricky Grace sits down, and on comes David Close. If he starts hitting a few three-pointers, what will the margin be at half-time? 6 minutes 40 left to half-time. Wayne Larkins, Lockhart, Lucas. Spectres going with 2 guards at the moment. Lockhart, yes!
Amazingly, that's Lockhart's first score in the game.
Down in game 1 with only 12. Back strong in game 2 with 20.
And 12 rebounds, I think, was the key statistic with Lockhart, because at the moment, the Spectres are getting the bath on the boards.
Margin is 15. Here's Torrance. Kicks it back outside to Watterson. Important time this for the Wildcats. With Grace off the floor. Uthoff the rebound. Lucas takes them on. Swatted away by Pinder.
Did anybody get the number of that truck? I don't think Darren Lucas saw the angle that Pinder had on him. That was dramatic. Good timing by Pinder to pick that out.
Tiny Pinder making a statement there. Here's Bolden. Perry, the low post Uthoff, working with his back to the basket, nothing doing. Bolden goes in there, stripped of the ball by Close. They'll call it against Close.
4.
I think they'll have to do that a little bit more, Dennis. They've got to make Uthoff a target. They've got to penalize Pinder for playing so far off Uthoff. If they don't do that, if they don't go through Uthoff occasionally, Pinder will clog up everything in the middle of the key and give them no easy shots around the basket. They've got to force Pinder to guard Uthoff, and that'll open up some room for other players.
Well, Bruce Bolden's had the shakes from the free throw line. That's 5 misses.
1.
I think the crowd is sensing, too, that they have a responsibility here, that they're making the Spectres miss the foul shot. They're getting progressively louder on those foul shots.
Eric Watterson for the Wildcats. Torrance. Crawford, a rare fumble. Watterson keeps it in. So 3 of their starting stars are sitting down, the Wildcats. Rebound, Bolden. Well, they've got this break of 14 points. They can rest a few players at the moment. Lockhart. Spectres haven't got the same luxury, not the same depth on the bench. Bolden misses with that one. He just can't find it. Torrance comes up with it.
Well, he's having to do such extravagant things to get this shot off. It's not unusual for him to miss those. can't seem to go straight up and shoot because the Wildcat defense surrounds it.
Here's Pinder. The jumper is sweet. Tiny Pinder has 10 points. The margin back to 16. 31 plays 25. Ellis into the game. Watterson sits down. Close goes out. Grace is back. Perry brings it down. Lockhart. Perry once more. Very heavy on the paint. Uthoff drew a crowd there. Bolden put it on the floor. Lucas was open. Nice move. Good rotation by Eastside. 41-27. Grace. Pinder has been strong again this afternoon. Crawford having a much better day. Now Mike Ellis, the captain. Pinder for three. No good.
Spectres have a numerical advantage if they can find it. Lockhart dishing to Uthoff, so the first fast break from the Spectres, and they look good on that one. They need to get out in the open court more.
Well, 12 the difference, so slightly the Spectres have won the second quarter. A timeout called, 41-29. The Spectres as close as they've been for a long time, since about midway through the first quarter. The deficit 12 points. They trailed by 14 at quarter time. 3 minutes 59 on the clock to half-time at the Perth Entertainment Centre. A packed house. Everybody in the stadium, barring about 10 people, wanting the Wildcats to win. And at the moment, they are gorging themselves on the success of their side.
Spectres back into a zone. They went to man-to-man for a period, just changing things up. They have to keep doing that. Trying to get Perth guessing. Crawford with a 15-footer. It comes off the side of the backboard, and Lockhart eventually gets it in. Although not easily. There are more ass of hands in front of him, but he eventually sees the clearing.
Well, they've missed on their last couple of trips up, the Wildcats.
Well, game one, when they got beat, Drew, they could never get under that margin of 10 points. And this is, again, Bolden picking up a charging foul. That psychological 10-point margins, we see Lockhart eyeballing Bolden inside. And there's Crawford. He's just standing there. Whether the contact was enough to result in the way that Crawford spilled away is questionable. But there's no doubt that the contact was called by the offense.
So the Wildcats trying to build on a 12-point lead. 3 minutes 10 to go to halftime. Grace. Crawford in a bit of space. Back to Ricky Grace. Around Lucas. Hansen tough in there. Unlucky that didn't go. Crawford doing well. Into Vlahov. Andrew Vlahov gets the score and draws the foul.
Uthoff picks up his third. So the two big men for the Spectres, Uthoff and Bolden, have 3 fouls. Uthoff moved into position too late. Vlahov had left the ground.
Great hustle too by James Crawford. Vlahov at the line then. Average 16 points on the season. His best 25 against the Saints in week 21. 15 points in game 1, 15 points on Friday. Gets the bonus.
7 points now. As I was saying, that game 1, Eastside could never get that margin under double figures. They've threatened a few times. This is looking very similar. Every time they get close, they make the mistake. Lockhart with a spectacular shot. Leaping leaner with a half gainer and a twist.
That was terrific. Degree of difficulty 10. 44 plays 31. Off the ball. A whistle from Bill Mildenhall. Obviously Brian Gorgian having a fair bit to say. And Bill was close by. Ellis to inbound there. 2:30 remaining in this first half. Pete Hansen. Grace for 3. No good. Hansen the rebound. In traffic. Puts the shot up. May have been fouled. He was.
And Bolden picked up his 4th foul. He won't be happy at that one.
That is
fouls on Bruce Bolden.
terrible news for Eastside. Bruce Bolden The man who was the catalyst on Friday.
Hansen there, working up. There's Bolden. You can see him stepping into and under him. It was a foul. Bolden wasn't in good defensive position to begin with, and when Hansen went up, Bolden just stepped into him.
So we've got a timeout at the Entertainment Centre. 44 plays, 31 back shortly.
Back at the Perth Entertainment Centre. The Wildcats lead by 13, but they'll be going to the line. Bruce Bolden, with 4 personal fouls, has gone to the bench, and that's bad news for the Spectres with still 2 minutes 17 to play to half-time. 6 fouls and he's out.
One only.
1 for Pete Hansen.
Should have been 2 foul shots because he did miss his foul. He did miss the shot. So Hansen will get another one.
1 to come now. 1 to come.
44 to 31.
6 points to Hansen. No real outstanding score for the Wildcats, but a lot of contributors.
Now the crowd chanting defense for the Wildcats as they get back. Spectres in possession. Lockhart out to Perry. Darren Perry makes a 3. His second for the game. Margin 11. So they're snipping away at that double-point deficit.
13 of 22. 3-point range in the playoffs, Darren Perry. 45-34, Crawford from the corner, no good. Lucas got the rebound. So this trip down the floor could pull it under 10.
Don't know why that's a psychological barrier, but it certainly is.
Both ways. Lockhart wants the baseline, denied through the double team. Lucas, big shot, hits. That for 2. So we're down to 123.
And there's the barrier.
Down.
There's the barrier broken, the 9-point margin.
Steve Davis in the game now. Has played only 59 seconds so far in the playoffs. Grace. Agram's all over him. Ellis tried to go inside to Hansen, stripped of the ball. Lockhart came up with it, and Perry will bring it down. 55 seconds remaining in the first half. Lucas has it now, and the margin is 9 points.
Another score here by the Spectres, and they'll start to feel as though they might be in touch. Vlahov
Let's be smart.
on the arm. 3 fouls for Andrew Vlahov.
Fouls 2-1.
Lockhart setting up the reverse pivot here. You can see, and there's Vlahov coming in, stripping him from the wrist to the elbow. And that wasn't a shooting situation, so Lockhart will shoot 1-on-1. We see another one of these foul shots for the Spectres. I suppose if we reflect that they shot a reasonable percentage from the foul line, incredibly, they would be very, very close.
Well, they're within 8 points, and twice in this game they've trailed by 17. Here's a paper dart on the court.
I hope they take that idiot and escort him straight to the paddy wagon somewhere. The management here hops on that very, very quickly.
Hagen Shayak, the visitors, but that's overstepping it a little bit. Lockhart misses the second one. Hansen a good rebound there.
You know, see, that broke the rhythm there. Lockhart hit the first foul shot. An airplane comes onto the floor. It just really is something you can't tolerate.
No.
Now, we have a timeout here, and people pointing up to the scoreboard and clock. Don't tell me we have a problem. Well, what it is 45 to 37. Wildcats by 8. 42.2 seconds remaining to half-time.
The top scorers for the Wildcats have been Pinder and Crawford. They both have 10. Let's see if we can listen in on Murray Arnold.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the second sprint, all right? Second one, let's just go ahead and get a good shot rather than try to shoot for 1 2. Really move it. Let's get the thing inside and get a good shot. All right? We're in Rover, duck in hard. James is Rover, take care of the ball now. Ricky, really get yourself moving. Let's get ourselves a good shot. All right? Now, they're going to get it back one more time. We need to get back and get a good stop. Who you guarding right now?
Uthoff.
Okay, don't pick up a foul. Okay. I believe you on the offense and trip open. You got Bolden, ready to work hard defensively. Okay, who you got?
Lucas.
You got Lucas. Okay, all right. Be ready to help out. All right, here we go. Come on, now. Come on, now, come on. Come on, come on.
Well, whoever reckons he's got Bolden has got it wrong, because Bruce isn't on the court. He's got 4 fouls and he's sitting down.
Gosh, you're picky.
But it'll be interesting to see if a player wanders over there and picks him up on the bench. That would be really following the coach's instruction, wouldn't it?
Close checking.
44 seconds to go to half-time. Wildcats by 8 points. They'd led by 14 at quarter-time. So if they chip it away at that rate for the rest of the game, the Spectres, and start to get a bit of accuracy from the foul line, who knows?
They're a gritty team. They keep coming back, don't they?
Ricky Grace. So the Spectres will certainly get the ball again before half-time.
Good help that time by Lucas Agrams on the screen. Uthoff helping from behind, so Spectre defense nearly gets the ball. Grace with it, forces it up. Spectres have 18 seconds.
Perry at the other end. He misses his shot but draws the foul.
The Spectres weren't going to use all of that 18 seconds, that's for sure. They saw a chance to fast break, and that foul's called on Mike Ellis. It's Perry, good dish from Lucas. Perry at the basket, and you can see Ellis coming in from the side after Perry's left the ground.
Bit of a surprising shot by Ricky Grace at the other end.
I think he must have felt, and indeed it may have, the 30-second clock might have run down. We didn't notice it, but when they got the ball, there was 44 seconds. So you would have thought that there was some time left on that 30-second clock.
You're right, you're right. 2.
Well, at the moment it's 8 points. If Perry can make both of these, they're pretty close.
7 points now to Darren Perry.
So a lot still to go in this grand final. Game 3, the decider. Good shooting by Darren Perry, and it's 45-39 with 14 seconds left.
One final trip up the floor for the Wildcats now. Grace barking the play. We're down to 4 seconds. He goes inside the baseline. Hansen drives the basket, and they call 3 seconds against the Wildcats. It may have been against Pinder.
Pinder was in there waiting for the cross-court pass, I think, from Grace, but unfortunately Hansen had got his way in. 3 seconds on the clock.
Lucas from long range on the buzzer. So at halftime at the Entertainment Centre, 4 points was the margin on Friday night, the Wildcats' way. It's 6 at the moment. 45 plays 39. We'll be back with all the halftime activity right after this. Well, it's half-time here at the Perth Entertainment Centre. The Wildcats lead this game 3, the decider in the grand final series by 6. Leon Lucas, Darren's dad, is watching on in Melbourne. Darren's dad will be getting sick of that, along with a lot of other fans who are barracking for the Spectres. Leon, how are you feeling? These grand finals are tough, aren't they?
Very nerve-wracking.
Well, some heartening signs, Leon, towards half-time there.
Yeah, it's the last 5 minutes. The boys started to put a lot more pressure on the guards, and they've still got to start to get their outside shots in. That's what they've got to do, and find the big man under the key.
Let's make you the coach then. Imagine you're Brian Gourgian, half-time, game 3 the decider. What would you be saying in the rooms right now? This is great power for you.
Well, the boys will. Don't panic, work the ball around until you find the right man, and then hit the boards.
What's the feeling amongst the fans? Can they win it from here, the Spectres? I'll take that as a yes. Nice talking with you. Thanks, Leon. Nice talking with you. Bill Palmer is with me. Time for the Mazda Slam Dunk competition. Bill, we announced the winner on Friday, actually, but talk us through these slams again. The best 7, was it, from the season?
Top 7, I think we'll look at them in reverse order at the moment. Number 7, James Crawford. Pretty hard to hold him out of any sort of slam dunk contest. Look at the height he gets on that and the power, obviously, in his slam. That was number 7. And then number 6 comes in, and this is a lob pass from Andrew Gaze to David Simmons. And again, you'll see it from a much better replay. You talk about slams being powerful, athletic. Timing's very important. Look at the timing in this. Actually, you see Simmons has to twist his body sideways to get a lob. And this is Mike Mitchell up there on the Gold Coast, coming down the middle. And you can look at the athleticism there. Spectacular dunk as you see it from the angle. He's the way he cocks it and then extends at the last minute. And this is probably a standard dunk from Leroy Loggins, except the difficulty is there is the degree of opposition. He gets hammered from Bolden and still tosses that ball down. That's number 4 on the list. Number 3 then is Paul Maley. Look at how far he takes out for that two-hand slam dunk. With Dave Simmons in his path, watch this. He seems to go up and gain a second bit of height up there, so that was number 3. Number 2, down the middle, Dwayne McLean from Sydney. Watch him pick up this ball in one motion, roll it up his wrist and slam it down. And again, that was a very spectacular dunk, and he took off a long way from the basket. But the winner, the best one that we judged, was Mike Mitchell down the baseline here with a reverse slam. Now look at the degree of opposition he's getting out there from the cannons. There he is. It goes by Atkinson. There's Thomas checking it up. He goes underneath the backboard virtually, reverses around and slams it down, and that's the number 1 slam. Mike Mitchell to the Gold Coast.
And there's our winner. We announced it on Friday. Peter Foote of 1 Turner South. Congratulations.
Choose the colour that whets your appetite. Mazda 121. You're 112.
The slam dunk of the year, presented by Mazda. Unrivaled quality, pure pleasure.
And we're back at the Perth Entertainment Centre. Just before you move away, Bill, you've got a presentation to make, regardless of who wins this afternoon. Who do you think you'll be presenting the trophy to?
Well, you still have to favor Perth, but there were some very encouraging sides in the last 5 minutes from Eastside. And I think particularly their ability, they proved that they can use Agrams, they proved that they can play some man-to-man defense. This might just go down to the wire.
In a moment, I'll be talking with John Gardner. That right after this.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the... No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid.
And 165 is the answer back in 1989. North Melbourne and the Wildcats, game 3 of their semi-final series. For MU Export, the quarter-by-quarter scores. At quarter time, the Wildcats out by 14, but Eastside, as they've done throughout, fighting back again, they trail by 6 at the Huff. And John Gardner to talk us through the numbers.
Well, look, it's the leading scorers here. And good news for the Wildcats here with Pinder, Crawford, Grace all scoring well. But in that second quarter, of course, Perry came out and scored very, very well for the Spectres. Vlahov got all those points early. And I suspect that the Wildcats might be a little bit worried by the stats. 48%, that's dropped down from that marvellous shooting percentage in the first quarter, which was up around the 50.
By 6 now. Can the Spectres come back? We'll find out in just a moment.
Goodness gracious. Hey, that's not fair. You guys
Mike. Well,
Dishes to Bolden.
Well, back in Perth, and in the second quarter, the Spectres won it 26-18. At one stage, they got themselves 17 points down, and they've reduced that margin to 6 at the long break. Perry has 8, Bolden and Ninnis have 7 each. For the Wildcats, Pinder 10, but just 2 in the second quarter. Grace 8, just 2 in the second quarter, both from free throws. And James Crawford got going and got the first 10 points for the Wildcats in that second period. And one of the amazing statistics is that Bruce Bolden has hit just 3 from 8 from the foul line, and the margin is 6 points.
And he was 80% on the season, Drew.
Sure was, and that has to be a disappointment there for the Spectres. But see, they've come back in after that initial emotional onslaught from the Wildcats, leading by 15. They've weathered the storm, the Spectres. They're back within striking distance now.
Well, they've just wiped the score from the scoreboard. We had this problem on Friday night with the computer playing up, and it looks as though we're going to go through it again. At the moment, it says 0-all.
Well, the question is, of course, can the Wildcats repeat? If you look at repeat champions, St Kilda under Brian Curl, 79 and 80. Canberra under Bob Turner in 83 and 84. Of course, they were sudden death grand finals then. Canberra, incidentally, won both their championships by 2 points. Now, the records show they all did it differently. St Kilda were the minor premiers in 79 and 80. Canberra didn't finish on top either time they won the championship. And now Perth, they came from 5th to win last season. They qualified on top this year. And, of course, they've had 2 different coaches, Cal Bruton and Murray Arnold. And since the current 3-game grand final series was introduced in 1986, no team has lost game 1 and then won the series. 3 series have gone to 3 games: Adelaide and Brisbane in 86, Canberra and North Melbourne in 88, and Perth and Brisbane last year. There's David Close. Will he be a Wildcat next season? And still problems with the clock. Kate Sobrano, who sang the national anthem. Score is still not up, but it is 45-39. .45-0 at the moment. The Wildcats will declare. They'll take that. Stop the clock. Underway. Second half of the grand final.
The Wildcats just win every tip-off against the Spectres.
Well, James Crawford's got great supremacy in the air.
Here's James Crawford. Underneath Hansen. Slapped out of there, and it'll be a Wildcats ball.
Wildcats will be after the same sort of start they had at the start of the game, where they came out, absolutely blitzed the basket and ran the floor as if they were demented out there. They've got to do it again. Lost the handle a little bit in the second part of the second quarter.
Ellis, good move. It doesn't go. Uthoff getting an important rebound. Perry up to Lucas, and back to Perry.
Man-to-man defense again by the Wildcats. They've stuck with it all year, certainly all game here. Interesting matchup there with Ellis on Lockhart.
Bruce Bolden on 4 personal fouls racked up in the first half, so he's certainly in foul trouble. Lockhart. Ellis just couldn't grab it. It comes back to Lockhart. So they have a chance to set again. So it's still 45-39. Nothing doing on the scoreboard yet.
Under the basket, Lockhart. Nice assist from Uthoff.
It's the danger from Mike Ellis. If he gets caught under the basket, Lockhart will certainly come out with that height advantage.
So the margin is back to 4. An air of apprehension now at the entertainment centre. Pinder puts it up. No good. Oh, almost came off Bolden.
Almost an own goal.
Uthoff got the rebound. Now it's with Perry. This trip could make it just 2. Lockhart draws a crowd. Grace from behind did brilliantly, but it comes back to Lockhart. Top of the key, Bolden. Quick to put it up. It's in.
Soft touch.
The Spectres trail by just 2.
That's where they want to be.
Oh, this is incredible. 4-0 so far in the third quarter. We've been playing just over 2 minutes. The Wildcats scoreless. Crawford tries this one. He's got it going today. James Crawford. Quick break. Lucas draws the foul but doesn't make the score.
Well, a lot of courage there. Second foul on Hansen. Lucas on the end of the fast break here picks up his momentum. Hansen's there, but he's still moving across into the path of Lucas. A lot of courage, a lot of body there too.
Now the crowd at the other end have the chance to chant and shout as the Spectres go to the line. It didn't put Lucas off that time. Lucas makes both. The margin back to 2 points. It seems incredible after it had been 17 earlier.
Those faces back in Melbourne tell the story. They're making their move, the Spectres, on this grand final. And can the season's top qualifiers and the reigning champs hold them at bay? What a terrific series it's been. Low post Crawford, turnaround jumper. No good. Slapped in the air. Bolden the rebound. The outlet pass finds Lucas, and they'll steady it down. Now it's in the hands of Perry. Bolden comes up. The score here will level it. We'll be able to hear a pin drop or a ball bounce. Bolden, the left-hander, gets the roll.
Magnificent shot. Came across there, transferred the ball to his left hand. Little finger roll, got the 2 points, and squares it up with 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Well, that's the first time the scores have been level since about the opening minute when it was 2-all. 47 each here in Perth. Ellis into Hansen. Almost lost it, Pete Hansen. Recovered well. And now the Spectres. Lucas. Oh, impossible! It goes in!
Great move by Darren Lucas against Peter Hansen.
On face value, you'd say a mismatch. 49 apiece. The Wildcats want to talk it over. Murray Arnold has called a timeout. That's our scoreline back at the Entertainment Centre. In game 3 of this grand final series, the best of 3, this is the decider. They trailed by as many as 19 from memory, the Spectres. What a terrific performance. Here's Grace. Puts it on the floor. In traffic. Ambitious shot. Gets his own rebound. Inspirational stuff.
Great recovery. Lucas did a great job on the first defensive effort. Got a hand of the ball, but wasn't quick enough to block Grace out the second time.
Lockhart, Lucas kicks it back outside. It came off Grace. Spectres ball from the side. Wildcats lead by 2. It's 51-49, 7:52 remaining in this third period. Low post is Bolden. Back to the basket. Fall away jumper. So sweet.
Boy, he's on track now.
Well, you'd have to say at the moment the momentum is with the Spectres to have hauled themselves back from where they were, to have levelled the scores 3 times. They haven't actually hit the front since this comeback. Ellis on beauty. (53-51). Wildcats lead. And the crowd chanting defence for the Wildcats. They went silent late in the second quarter as the Spectres came back. A rollicking grand final. That one came off Crawford, a Spectres ball. Who would have thought it after the thrashing in game 1 for the Spectres on their home floor at the Glass House. Bolden working on Crawford. Goes over the top of him but misses. Breaks the rebound.
He comes storming back. He feeds Hansen, who is fouled by Lockhart. That's his third foul.
Not happy with that. Let's see if we can pick it up here on replay. Hansen plays for the foul. Contacts come across. Lockhart didn't do very much wrong. Little contact with the body.
Hansen has 7 points on the night.
Keep it quiet.
He got 14 in game 2. Bit of jawing going on there between Bolden and Pinder.
Just checking the weather, I should imagine.
At best. I think their dispositions match the weather here in Perth, and it's a hot day. Hansen misses the second of them, so the margin is 3 points. Perry. Ninnis has been lively. Back to Perry. Important trip up the floor, this one. Bolden kicks it outside. Ninnis sets, shoots for 3. No good. Hansen the rebound, fouled by Uthoff. No, a jump ball. Jump ball, says Eddie Crouch.
They should check the floor about that spot there. Let's see if we can pick it up in replay now. Long ball flies off the back of the rim. Hansen's got the contact, but I guess if the ball from Uthoff on his hands at the same time, well, we'll find out now.
That would be a main event in plenty of stadiums around the world. Uthoff and Hansen.
Well, not quite the same situation as a tip-off, because Crawford isn't in there competing. It's Hansen against Uthoff. It was a tip-off. You'd back the Spectres, but you'd back the Wildcats. But Hansen does beat Uthoff.
Gave away about 4 inches there. Came up with a good leap. Uthoff must be getting tired. Been an enormous amount of responsibility on that huge frame over the last 3 matches.
54-51, the Wildcats lead. James Crawford.
Found the space.
Hasn't he made a comeback since a couple of disappointing offensive games in games 1 and 2? Off Ricky Grace's foot. Spectres ball. They trail now by 5 after drawing level. Scores were level 3 times. But the Spectres haven't led since the opening 2 minutes of the game. Kent Lockhart.
Offensive foul. Mike Ellis played for that. Lockhart went in, backed in the other way. Milton Hall was not in the best position to call it. Lockhart's 4th. Let's see if we can pick it up on replay. Jinks one way, comes back the other way there. Ellis came in underneath him. Tough one for Milton Hall to call. He was behind the action, couldn't see the lateral contact.
5 minutes 50 to go to three-quarter time. And the Wildcats out to a 5-point lead and in possession. Vlahov got a bit clear. Uthoff fouls him.
Let's see if we can pick it up here. 21, I think it's Scott Ninnis, or 6, I'm sorry. Scott Ninnis, or might be Perry. I'll have it wrong again. Let's see, pick it up, wheels, good strong move. Yeah, there's the arm from Perry, Darren Perry. Vlahov to the line. Critical time right now here, Drew, for the Spectres. What they did very well the other night was just keep in touch until that critical 4th quarter.
Right, there's a miss by Vlahov from the line. Lockhart and Bolden had 4 fouls each. That was Perry's first. 6 points the margin, Wildcats leading.
And the Spectres need a basket on this trip. They've got to dig deep again. How many times can they do it? Bolden, cross court, Perry, Ninnis, back outside, Lockhart, shot clock is down to 9 now. Bolden's got it, 7 on the shot clock. Ninnis open, this for 3, no good. Crawford the rebound. Grace comes away. Hansen goes in, makes the layup. That could be a turning point.
That's the action that was missing in game 2. The fast breaks weren't there for either club, but the Wildcats were pushing hard down the floor there. Found Pete Hansen on the break.
Fair time since we've seen one of those from the Wildcats. Uthoff, crash down goes Vlahov. They've lost it. So once again the Spectres are turning the ball over, and the Wildcats are enjoying this advantage and lead by 8. Vlahov taken on by Bolden. Vlahov to the basket and scores up the glass.
Boy, that's a strong move, Dennis. He took Uthoff, he took Bolden, he went up strong, and we've got a timeout from Brian Gorgian with a scoreline 61-51 in favour of the Wildcats.
Well, the place is jumping. The Perth Entertainment Centre, the Wildcats have gone on a 10-point run, 10 unanswered points. And after the timeout was called, Brian Gourgian had to be restrained by one of his players. He wanted to have a long talk, an animated talk, with one of the officials. I think Eddie Crouch, but either would have done.
It's enormous pressure on both coaches here, Dennis. Three-game series.
It's just so emotional now. Grace comes up with it. Momentum has swung back. The Wildcats. Inside Vlahov, another power move.
Boy, what an impact.
Well, they got back level, the Spectres, but they've hit a wall since then. 12 points to nothing for the Wildcats. We've got 4 minutes remaining to three-quarter time. Lockhart for a big three. Grace gets the rebound. And all that the Spectres did in the last 5 minutes of the first half, coming unstuck now. No score from Hansen.
That's an interesting call as well. Judge has called him on a charge. That's his third.
63-51. Perth leading. Can the Spectres haul themselves back again? Called on Crawford.
That was 7 wide for a push over his back.
It's his third.
Crawford 3, Vlahov 3, Hansen has 3 fouls.
Well, Drew, this is the emotive stage of the game, isn't it? Coaches, players, all involved. It's really all on the line. I know it's very much a cliche, but it's right there.
Perry works inside. Grace fouls him.
It's his first foul, would you believe that? See if we can pick it up. Perry goes around. Grace getting a little bit tired. This is the second or third time he's allowed the dribbler to go around. He's tried to slap from behind.
Innes had a look at a three-point shot. Dished it back out to Perry. He won't go. Oh, Bolden. Good offensive rebound. And they set up again, the Spectres. It's been a long time between drinks. Wildcats have scored 12-0 in this rush. Lockhart just gets it.
Looking for somebody else to pick it up there, but had to retrieve it.
Abrams. A charge by Abrams.
Well, I guess you've got to put that down to inexperience. The young man was in there. The emotions caught up with him. Vlahov, with all that experience in the Stanford program and the Boomers program, withheld his ground. You can see it there very clearly on picture.
So the margin is 12 points now. Mike Ellis. Hansen through the paint, off the glass.
Nice basket. Knifing move, right-hander.
So it's back out to 14. We've talked about the wall in the context of the competition. It may be the Spectres have hit another wall right here. Their second game within 48 hours. Very little depth on the bench. So few are doing so much. That man has worked his heart out. He hits for three when they needed one. Bruce Bolden.
It's a tough shot with James Crawford's hand in your face as well.
65-54. But they're getting three now, the Wildcats. Ellis, Hansen, Crawford open, no defensive rotation. The shot no good. Bolden now at the defensive end. Gets the rebound, was fouled.
It's his fourth. Vlahov's fourth. Let's see if we can pick it up here on replay. The shot goes up from James Crawford. I suspect there was a little shuffle of the feet there before that shot for James Crawford. There was contact there. Contact initiated by Vlahov reaching over. 90-odd feet to the other end, and Bruce Bolden on the line.
Well, Bolden, whose foul shooting in the first half was costly, making just 3 from 8. The crowd facing him at this end, not quite as big as the crowd at the other end, but they're making just as much noise.
All to no avail. Bruce Bolden, he's a cool customer.
(65-56). Well, it got out to 14 points, the margin.
Interestingly enough here, Dennis, the Wildcats have made very few subs in this quarter, and they've got back on track.
Whereas the Spectres have Agram's on, and he almost comes out with it here. Larkins is on as well for the Spectres. Ellis tries to dish it out to Hansen, who was going the wrong way, and that's a turnover. Spectres ball. 1:36 remaining in the third quarter. And the Spectres have scored the last 5 points after the Wildcats went 14-0. Perry to Lucas. Could they come back again? Larkins. Out he goes to Perry. Three-point attempt. Short. Bolden. Top rebound. Back to Perry. He's made a lot of attempts. Not a high percentage. And he's turned it over here, Darren Perry.
Great effort by James Crawford.
Vlahov off the glass. No good. Slapped away by Vlahov. He's done a couple of very good things down there. Second effort to keep the ball alive. Grace on the baseline. Stripped away from Hansen. Spectres ball. Down goes Larkin.
Well, a little emotion. Larkin's on the floor after the ball. Grace upset. Got a substitution here from the Wildcats. Vlahov comes out. Pinder in. Watterson in.
I think Wayne Larkin's role may be to niggle Ricky Grace just a little bit. If that's the case, he was right on track there. 65-56, down to 46 seconds remaining in this third period, so the Wildcats will get the ball back. The roar is deafening as Bolden puts up an early shot. No good. Pinder the rebound.
Strong by Tiny Pinder. A championship last year, and he wants another one this year. It could be about 12.5 minutes away for the Wildcats. They lead 65-56. Watterson. Grace, good move away from Larkins. He tries a three. No. Larkins comes up with it. Just 12 seconds left. Perry has a look at the clock. He realizes he's got to do something pretty quickly here. He goes for a long three under the basket. Oh, Lucas, and it goes.
What a super effort. Right between the buzzer.
65-58. And the Spectres got the last 7 points of the quarter. And at the last change, the margin is just 7.
Season. The margin is 7 points. Eastside trail. Bolden, the game's high scorer, with 18. Crawford has 14. Away we go. Stand by for a roller coaster ride. It's been that way throughout the first 2 games. Both sides having extensive points runs. There's Grace. Crawford back to Grace. He wants the baseline. He goes and he scores.
Sensational play by Ricky Grace, and importantly the first score to the Wildcats. Once again they won the tip-off after actually Bolden got a hand to it first. Uthoff back in the action. Here's Bruce Bolden, who's been outstanding all season. Perry scoreless in the third quarter. Uthoff off the glass.
Strong move off the glass. Went straight into Tiny Pinder. Pinder was smart enough to avoid the foul.
So the whole season might come down to the last 12 minutes of action. Game 3 in the grand final, the decider. And certainly a 7-point lead in this sort of a contest is not all over bar the shouting. It's still 7. Hansen. Down goes Perry. Hansen's shot doesn't go. Perry on the ground. Unbelievable. Lucas has Uthoff up ahead, but he calls it off and waits for support.
Need a score. Spectres need a score and a stop.
Here's Perry. Lockhart. Lucas takes the baseline.
Oh,
great move.
Great move. Traffic there either side. Got up on the reverse layup.
Leon would have liked that one.
Lucas has had a great grand final series.
67-62. Important trip this one for the Wildcats. Crawford in the corner. Kicks it back outside. Watterson. Bounce pass. Hansen. Gets it off the glass. Big basket.
Margin back to 7 again. Wildcats won the third quarter 20-19. They had a long run and the Spectres had a long run to finish the quarter. Have the Spectres got enough gas left in the tank after a tough series where they really only rely on about 6 players?
Second foul for Ricky Grace.
Andrew Vlahov coming in for the Wildcats. James Crawford goes out of it. Crawford 14 points to three-quarter time after scoring just 8 in the previous 2 games in the grand final.
Vlahov put in there to put the damper on Bolden.
Uthoff drives. He loses it. Well done by Pinder. It comes to Grace. Pinder followed up.
Well, that'll be on Vlahov. It's his fifth foul. He's only got one more to give. See if we can pick it up. Pinder should have done a little better with that one. Had to go to the left hand. Vlahov trying to keep it alive.
So Vlahov is the first player to 5 fouls and to be on sudden death. Bolden is still on 4, and he racked up those 4 halfway through the second quarter. Uthoff misses.
Vlahov the rebound. Watterson comes away. 7-point spread. Hansen goes at them. Tried to go underneath to Pinder.
That's his 4th. Well, it'll be interesting to see that one, but we've got a timeout. Scoreline of 69-62 in favour of the Wildcats. 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining.
Giants coach Bruce Palmer looking on. He's been here before. He knows the tension. His good buddy Brian Goorjian in his 4th season. He was coach of Eastside, played with Melbourne in the early 80s. A quality backcourt player. The margin is 7 then. The Spectres have possession. They trail. Uthoff looking to go inside to Bolden. Great maneuver there.
This was the little 1-2 combo that worked so well for them in game 2. High post down to the low post. Bolden picks up his 20th point.
So the Wildcats need a basket to retain their cushion. Watterson around the screen set by Vlahov. Grace kicks it back to Pinder. Confronted by Perry. Puts up the shot off the glass. Fine effort.
Yeah, he's a big game player, Tiny Pinder. Once again, we get out to that 7-point margin. That's been pretty consistent over about the last 5 minutes of basketball. Long shot by Uthoff, doesn't go. Perry tips it back and Hansen grabs it for the Wildcats.
Brian Goorjian will be hanging his head with that one. That's not the percentage shot they want Uthoff to take.
They dared him to take it.
71-64. The crowd stamping, clapping, singing. Is it successive championships for the Wildcats? Pinder! The target is a bit closer now.
Oh, the showman's out in Pinder at the moment.
9 points the margin with 7:45 remaining in the grand final.
Lockhart against Watterson. Puts it on the floor towards the double team. Loses it.
Grace is away. Ninnis. Great athleticism.
Oh, great steal. Hung in midair. Back come the Spectres. Perry puts it up for 3. No good. You wonder why.
Well, the last 2 shots down there, one from Uthoff and that one there from Perry, and even the one from Lockhart. That's not going to win them a championship.
Here's Hansen. 7:12 remaining in this game. Remaining in the season. Hansen strong to the basket. How do they call it?
On Uthoff.
It's against Dean Uthoff. The basket counts.
And foul. That's his 4th.
And importantly, the margin is back into double figures.
That also has given them a chance to rest Andrew Vlahov, give him 3 or 4 minutes on the bench. They've brought James Crawford back in. Now let's see if we can pick it up. Uthoff's behind, losing his footing there. The right arm going down. Didn't look nearly as bad on replay.
Smouldering. Dean Uthoff. Hansen at the line. Misses the bonus. Uthoff makes amends. Away comes Ninnis. 11 points the spread now. Perry. Under 7 minutes remaining. Bolden goes inside. Uthoff from the low post off the glass.
That's brought the margin back under double figures. 9 the deficit for the Spectres. Tiny Pinder looking for movement. Bolden tracking him. Back to Watterson for 3. Lockhart, that's a jump ball. Hansen got a share of it. And you can see the feeling in this grand final.
Well, bit of showmanship. And, of course, nobody's prepared to give anything up. That's what it's about. Watterson, who was so successful in game 2 from beyond the three-point arc.
Lockhart wins this one. Uthoff. Fast break. Perry. Grace gets there. Grace fouls.
Not a bad foul.
It's his third.
He's got all these 3 fouls in the space of about 5 minutes in this quarter. Ricky Grace.
Well, he wasn't going to concede an easy basket there, John.
Have we cast our mind back as well to game 2, Dennis? Those fast break layups did the trick for the Spectres. It was Ninnis on Friday night. Perry's been on the break now.
Now Perry gets the margin back to 7. That's been a pretty popular margin during this last quarter. Wildcats still looking good. We're midway through the last quarter of action in basketball for season 1991. 6 minutes, 16 seconds to go. And the Wildcats 75 to 68.
Wildcats a little negative, and that's not the shot they want Tiny Pinder to take. But Tiny Pinder will take that all night.
What a celebration for Tiny Pinder.
Murray Arnold would have had his heart in his mouth there. So the margin still at 9. The Spectres need to score. Uthoff to Ninnis, who wants the baseline. Denied, kicks it back outside. Lockhart's got it now. Watterson right there. Lockhart finds Perry, this for 3. And he strikes. What a big basket that was.
Little drive and dish. Gorgian telling his charges to get up and apply the pressure. Wildcats a little negative.
It's 3 3-pointers for Darren Perry.
The margin is 6. Gorgian has said all season and throughout these playoffs, the one thing about Perth is you're in the game with them late in the game. Now a call off the ball. And they've called it, I think, against Eastside, have they?
No, I think it's Pinder.
It's Tiny Pinder. He's pumped up.
He's 4. Offensive pick. Gone through. Well, the coolest head will win this.
77 to 71.
Uthoff looking to beat Bolden.
There's a foul by Crawford.
It's his 4th. They're looking to go inside to Bruce Bolden now, passing it quickly around the outside.
Well, remarkably, the Spectres were in very early foul trouble, but haven't had much trouble for about the last quarter and a half.
Protected it very well. I think the Wildcats are going just a little negative on their offense as well. There's not a great deal of movement out there. Their cutting motion is being denied.
6 fouls to 1 this period. Bolden at the line.
Oh.
He's had the shakes from the foul line. It's 77 to 71, under 5 minutes left.
A lot of pressure on Watterson now.
A lot of pressure on the officials too. Crouch and Mildenhall joint referees of the year for the last 3 seasons, and Mildenhall makes the call against Ninnis, his 2nd foul.
You'd have to suspect that Ninnis didn't agree with that call, Dennis. See if we can pick it up. A little reverse pivot here, comes back. There's the reach behind. Well, I think Ninnis has a little bit to complain about as well.
Inside the last 5 minutes then of the grand final. Watterson. Hansen couldn't control it. Uthoff lost it. Crawford goes in. Fall away jumper. Short. Gets the roll.
Nice bounce.
Whoa.
That ability to hang in the air helped.
And you'd have thought that Uthoff would have grabbed that rebound. And a bit of a fumble there gave Crawford that chance. 79 to 71. The Wildcats by 8. 4 minutes 12 to go. Perry for another 3. No, foot on the line was the call. Comes to Uthoff. It won't go. Bolden. Tiny Pinder. And that's
5 on Hansen. Hansen, I think.
0 for Hansen.
He's not happy. Let's see if we can pick it up. Our camera's right there. Oh, they've called Hansen for it. I think your call was right. Might well have been other than Hansen.
Well, Bruce Bolden on the line to shoot 2. And the Wildcats won't mind because Bruce Bolden has had trouble from the free throw line today.
Oh, goodness me, he's got another one to go, of course. Grace thought it was a 1-on-1. It's not. He was shooting.
In 4 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. The Wildcats lead by 8 points. Well, he makes the second.
6 from 13 tonight from the foul line, Bolden.
Gee whiz, you give him, well, if not 100%, a lot better than that, and they'd be within a basket just about, the Spectres.
Well, he's been shooting 80% all year. That's 5.
They've called it against Lockhart.
Dennis, one wonders how long it'll be before they bring Andrew Vlahov back into the game and possibly Mike Ellis.
3 minutes 52 remaining. Watterson with Perry. Hansen. Good build-up by the Perth Wildcats.
Plenty of time. 16 on the shot clock.
Ricky Grace. Ninnis. Grace, a high jump. It comes out to Watterson. Short.
Oh,
Crawford, great rebound. James Crawford.
More importantly, drew another 30 seconds off the game clock. Oh,
well, Ricky Grace ignored that.
Didn't need it.
The margin is 9. 81-72. 3:15 remaining in the grand final. Elizabeth 3. No good. Oh, that was a big shot. And a big rebound.
Wildcats need to run the clock down. Milk it a little bit, but don't become negative. Need to remember what got them the lead.
Gray certainly did that last time around. Had a new clock and went straight at the hoop. Watterson feeds Grace. Puts it up. Doesn't get the roll. Uthoff the strong rebound defiantly. Kicks it out to Ninnis. And back come the Spectres. Bolden. Ninnis for 3. Short. Crawford the rebound.
Ninnis has been short all night with those shots, and that's what the pressure does to you.
It'll be tough from here for the Spectres.
And they keep trying three-point shots. And here's a hold by Perry.
Let's see if we can pick this up on replay here. This pressure is indicative of what the Spectres must continue to do. We've got Larkins coming in. I think they'll be applying a little more full court pressure, and we've got a timeout with the scoreline 81-72 in favour of the Wildcats, and 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining.
Well, the Spectres up against it again. It's hard not to patronise them and say how great they've been through this series so far. It's slipping away now. They can sense it. They've got to find something and find it quickly. Brian Gorgian goes into the huddle. As John said, 2:25 remaining.
Now, you can't bump and put him on the foul line, all right? If Hansen touches the ball, you don't want it intentional and you want to foul him, all right? If Hansen touches it, we want to foul him and start making him put it down. On offense now, we want to run thumbs up on the cover downs. You guys take the threes. Catch and shoot on the perimeter. We don't want to foul. We got the thumbs up. I got no more timeouts. We got to keep the pressure on him. If Hansen does it, foul it. What do you think, guys? Let's go. Quick.
And Hansen is the chosen one because he shoots 62% from the floor.
Got to be careful though, Dennis. They are in the team foul violation area, and as you heard Brian Goorjian tell his team, he's wasted his last timeout. That's a long time to go in a championship game without a timeout. 2 minutes 21. Murray Arnold, on the other hand, has 2.
Well, Hansen had the ball and they didn't foul him. At the stripe, he's had his problems over the season, but he's been strong, or stronger, certainly, in these playoffs. Watterson goes all the way, nothing doing. Pinder the rebound off the glass.
That's Tiny Pinder's greatest strength, his offensive rebounding.
83-72. Bolden for 3. Oh, what a shot. Now, the Spectres have the worst three-point percentage of any team in the league. They start taking long bombs and you wonder whether they've got a show, but then he hits one like that.
Well, of course, there's the danger. 5 fouls on Uthoff, and of course the Wildcats are being smart enough to allow Pete Hansen now to bring the ball up, and Uthoff is hopelessly mismatched out there.
And Uthoff not happy because Larkins was close enough to come across and do the fouling.
Yeah, well, I think Uthoff is very, very tired, Dennis.
So Pete Hansen at the line. 83-75, minute 47 left.
Oh,
Bolden knocked out of his arms by Crawford.
Theory work, Drew?
Yep. They got nothing from that. 8 points. Well, they've had a lot of rushes. So have the Wildcats. The Wildcats led by 17 a couple of times. The Spectres levelled the scores. And after it had been level, the Wildcats got 14 straight. Bolden's done it again.
Thank you very much. 27 points is on his season average.
83-78. It's just 5 points the margin. And if Bolden keeps bombing like this, they can win. Hansen to Pinder. We have 1 minute 20 left.
Hansen, will they foul him again? Yes, they do.
Well, of course, they've got to be careful here, Dennis. They don't get called for an intentional foul.
That's right. The Wildcats then get the shots and keep the ball. 83 plays 78. Hansen at the line.
Big test on Hansen now. Still 1-on-1. Shot a miserable 62% for the year. That has to help.
1:16 remaining.
Let's go! One!
Murray Arnold's bringing another ball carrier in. A big man, but Vlahov can carry the ball.
This is the second of them. So the margin at 6.
2 3-pointers.
1:10 remaining. Perry goes for the first of them. Misses. Bolden the rebound. Takes it to the glass and scores. 1:04 remaining. And the margin is back to 4 points.
There's a smart move out there. No reflection upon Hansen. If anything, a reflection upon the Spectre and Brian Goorjian's coaching. He picked the weakness from the foul line from Hansen. Vlahov will certainly punish Uthoff if he gets fouled.
Spectres led by 11 only a minute or so ago. Larkins gets the foul here.
That's 3 on Larkins. Ricky Grace to the foul line.
Ricky's a different kettle of fish.
He needs to take his time.
MVP in the playoffs last year. And the Wildcats point guard could be leading them to their second successive championship.
Needs this one, Drew, to keep it just in that double 3-point range.
6 the margin, 56 to go. And the Wildcats lead by those 2 3-pointers, and the Spectres have made a few 3-pointers with Bolden in this last quarter. Lockhart, it doesn't go. Watterson, Grace out to Pinder.
Pinder needs to hang on. Oh! And is there a foul? A foul as well will send him to the line.
That could be it.
4 on Larkins.
That's it. That's the grand final. The place has erupted. We've got a timeout. 88 plays 80. And we're down to 35.7 seconds remaining in the decider. Here's Murray Arnold. There's Bruce Gorgia.
Bruce, you start off at the 3 and we're on our dribble, rub, flare, all right? Dribble, rub, flare. Dean's blocking offensive board. When the ball comes in to Vlahov, foul. All right, not intentional. Not intentional. Not intentional. Hey, once the ball crosses the 10-second line, we got a foul. All right? We got a foul whoever gets it. Now, Kent and Dog, make sure your team are on the 3. Dribble, rub, in flare, teach your target low. As soon as we score, match up. All right, get the screen out. Yes, you got the ball. Let's go, Spectres.
They come back out. Is Vlahov there for a start?
Yeah, Vlahov's down here.
Yep, he's out on the court.
James Crawford, 18 points after going scoreless in game 2.
Well, champions are likely to do that, aren't they?
Sure are, and this man is one of the most decorated in the NBL.
Gets the bonus after the timeout. Wildcats lead by 9. Eastside have got to put it up quickly. Perry, we're down to 28 seconds remaining in the game. Perry looking to draw a foul. Ambitious shot, no good. Down to 22 seconds. Grace has got it. Pinder, they must foul him.
I'll have some feeling for the Spectres. They've given it all tonight.
Twice in less than 48 hours they had to come up. It was always going to be a tough assignment, and so it's proven. But gee, they fought hard. Pinder at the line. 18 seconds remaining in the grand final. He gets it. And Tiny Pinder, who averaged only 12 points on the season, came into this game averaging 16 in the playoffs. And he has risen to the occasion. Big-time player. The Wildcats poised to become only the 3rd team in NBL history to win back-to-back championships.
Margin is 10. Larkins. Pinder's back there. Well done, Tony Pinder. He's got an eye on the clock. He's got a smile on the face. The arms are in the air. The Wildcats have done it.
The Wildcats are champions.
The team which won the regular season by 5 games deservedly have gone on to win the championship. And the Perth Entertainment Centre erupts to announce champions for the 2nd year in a row.
And what a grand final series it was. It really was dramatic. Blown out in the first game. Eastside came back to win what was a remarkable victory here on Friday. They won by 5 points. And tonight, with 17 points down at one stage, they leveled midway through the 3rd period. But then the Wildcats, the stamp of a good side, pulled away again. The Spectres tried valiantly, but couldn't get back a second time. Murray Arnold must be delighted. He was on a hiding to nothing this year. They were champions last year under Calvin Bruton. Arnold accepted the job from Western Kentucky. And if anything, they've been a better side, a deeper side this year. Brian Gorgian, I think, knows he's been beaten by a wonderful combination, and his team did him proud. His planning in the game, too, was quite outstanding. There's Arnold. Now Mike Ellis is standing by. Spare a thought for that man, Bruce Bolden. So much an integral part of Eastside Melbourne. Let's go to Mike Ellis now.
Thank you, Dennis. Well, Mike, I have to ask the obvious question. How does it feel the second time around?
Unbelievable. It's just as good as the first time, no question.
After that first game in Melbourne where you won by 26, everyone was expecting you to really coast home, but it's turned into a wonderful series, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, Eastside are a great team. They played a great series. You know, we shocked them the first game in Melbourne. We knew the second one was going to be tough. they proved what a good team they are, and I think we proved that we're just as good a team, so it's good.
Was there pressure or nerves of playing at home, the expectation on you?
Oh, there's always pressure there, you know. It was easier to play away, I think, half the time. But I think we're a mature enough team that we handled it fairly well and we came back strong.
Okay, Michael, go and enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Mike Ellis, the only captain the Wildcats have had. Let's check those leading scorers. As we said, James Crawford came back so strongly. Bolden led the way, John.
Yeah, Bolden 29. What a magnificent effort from a guy who was really targeted from the defence of the Wildcats. Tiny Pinder 19. He's a big game player. Dennis, without a doubt. Crawford, a great comeback from a great champion. And then a little duo there of Hansen and Grace that had a big impact upon the game. But, by gee, it's hard to pick anybody out in those scorers.
Just about set for the presentation. There's Bob Williams, the heart and soul of this franchise. Let's get a bill.
Another very successful season, and certainly the Australian Airlines Final Series was something to behold. I'd like to introduce the chairman of the National Basketball League, Mr. Malcolm Speed, to congratulate the teams.
Mr. Kevin Edwards, Minister for Sport for Western Australia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Eastside Melbourne Spectres came to Perth this week to do the impossible, to beat the Perth Wildcats twice. They did it once. They came within 10 points of doing it twice. It takes two teams to make a great final series. Would you show your appreciation for the Eastside Melbourne Spectres? Your team today fought for the honour of Western Australian sport. Back-to-back championships. Would you stand and show your appreciation for the Perth Wildcats, the 1991 Hungry Jacks NBL champions? The National Basketball League greatly appreciates the support from its sponsors. Hungry Jacks, the naming rights sponsor for the National Basketball League, and Australian Airlines, the sponsors of the final series for the National Basketball League. Please welcome Mr. Malcolm Green, the Operations Manager of Hungry Jacks for Western Australia, and Mr. Kevin Turtle, the Manager for Western Australia of Australian Airlines, to assist with the presentations. Would you welcome Mr. Green and Mr. Turtle, please? And finally, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support. The Hungry Jacks National Basketball League season in 1991. You've been a great crowd, great supporters of a great team. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Eastside Melbourne Big M Spectres one by one. They were valiant in defeat and they went farther than probably most of the country gave them credit for. They had a fantastic last 7 weeks. They looked like missing out of the playoffs. They finished second. They proved themselves to be the second best team in this competition, and they certainly deserve everybody's respect. I'll call forward the Spectre players, please. Firstly, Darren Lucas. Scott Minnis. Co-captain of the Spectres, Dean Uthoff. And the other co-captain of the Spectres, Wayne Larkins. Neil Beaker. Lucas Agrams. Mark Holder. Darren Perry. Kent Lockhart. And the leading scorer in the Australian Airlines Grand Final Series, Bruce Bolden. I'd like to recognize the coach of the Spectres, Brian Gorgon. Assistant coach, Ian Stacker.
Might be a chance.
And the other assistant coach, Kevin Gorgon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eastside Melbourne Big M Spectres. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now to the awarding of the championship rings for the 1991 Hungry Jack season. Firstly, forward from the Perth Wildcats, their captain, and their only captain, Mike Ellis. The man who's helped the Wildcats so much off the bench this year, Eric Watterson. The man whose baskets probably broke Eastside's heart in the fourth quarter, Tiny Pinder. Trevor Torrance. Steve Davis. And the pilot out there for the Wildcats, Ricky Grace. An acknowledgement of a player who's trained with the Wildcats all year long, didn't suit up tonight, but the Wildcats want his support acknowledged, Brett Ellis. A wonderful addition to the Hungry Jacks National Basketball this season, Andrew Vlahov. Another one of the squad members that come out for every training session and put right in, Craig Evans. And the blue-collar worker, certainly one of the best import pickups this year, Peter Hansen. And finally, to round out the Wildcat squad, David Close. And for a man who didn't do all that badly in his rookie season in the NBL, head coach Murray Arnold. Ladies and gentlemen, you're doing better than our secretary did in Burby. You forgot the Alabama slammer, James Crawford.
Well, James Crawford forgot to come on Friday night. He certainly came tonight. The Wildcats join St Kilda and Canberra as the repeat champions of the NBL. The celebrations will go on for a long time here at the Entertainment Centre. Happy faces all around. The Wildcats have won by 10. Thanks for your company. Good afternoon.
The most valuable player for the Australian Airlines final series. First to the team award and call for the captain of the Wildcats.
Viewers in Perth, I think, will stay with this. Obviously, you'd be enjoying the presentations. Let's go back now because this is probably the meaningful moment, the presentation of the league championship to the skipper, Mike Ellis.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call for Kevin Turtle from Australian Airlines to say a few words.
Thank you, Bill. Ladies and gentlemen, Australian Airlines has had the good fortune during the year to carry the teams and officials of the NBL, and it's been a great pleasure for us. An additional pleasure has been that opportunity to sponsor this great final series, and my heart goes out to the Spectres, who I thought did a tremendous job. And I'm sure that certainly on Friday night and again today, they've had you very, very nervous at different times. And I only want to add my congratulations to the Wildcats, to their owners, and to all you spectators and supporters here in Perth. Well done.
The final duty is to name the most valuable player of the Australian Airlines Grand Final Series. Very difficult. The Wildcats are a very well-balanced team, have many contributors. But the player we think through the 3 games that was the tower of strength for them, that won the MVP this year, is Peter Hansen.
I just want to say, Eastside gave us a great game. You guys did a good job. Thank you. Also, it's not only one player who's the MVP, it's the whole team. These guys are responsible. And to you, Perth, you helped us too. Thank you.
That concludes the ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all back in 1992, where the Wildcats will try and make it 3 in a row.
The general manager of the NBL, Bill Palmer. Interesting to see Pete Hansen's dad and his brother enjoying that moment too. Neil Poe is standing by with one of the victorious Wildcats. In fact, it's the coach. Who better to go to? Neil?
Thank you, Dennis. Well, Murray, congratulations on a great win in a fantastic series.
Thank you, Neil. I'm very proud of our kids, very happy for them. As you know, having been with us all year, these guys worked extremely hard, and tonight's game was symbolic of the type of basketball, the type of effort it took to get here and to win it. And I couldn't be happier. I think it was very profound way for us to win the championship. I'm excited for our guys, deeply thrilled and pleased myself. It's just wonderful.
What was the difference, do you think, between Game 2 and Game 3 tonight?
I just think we played with a total commitment to the contest at hand. We got the defensive job done. We held them to 80 points. We pounded the boards and got to the offensive glass. We beat a very good team that played another great game.
Murray, your first season when you came here, I guess there was a lot expected of you because you took over the championship side. Were you feeling the pressure?
No, I coach the basketball team. As I've always told you, the pressure is something you people are worried about, not me. I got a great group of guys to coach. That's the only thing that's important to me is to coach these guys and work for the Perth Wildcats. Everything else is something you guys need to be concerned about, not me.
Okay, now you've been coaching, what, for 30-something years. Would this rank as one of your greatest thrills?
Very much so, probably the greatest. I've never been in a situation as exciting, as worthwhile, and as rewarding, and with a better group of people than this team, these owners, and this city.
Thank you, Murray. Thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Neil. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dennis.
Talking there with Murray Arnold. Well, we talked about it earlier, John. He was a hilltopper at Western Kentucky. The old hilltoppers, well, this afternoon he's sitting on top of the mountain. The NBL championship has been won by the Perth Wildcats, and they are a happy crew. And really, if we talk about Murray Arnold coming into the season, he was on a hiding to nothing, wasn't he?
He sure was. It's very difficult to take a championship team with all the turmoil they had through the brutal years to back-to-back championships. I think you must appreciate some of the strain on the coaching staff. Brian Goorjian expressed some of that during the game. Murray Arnold's gone through. Dave Hancock's been a tower of strength. That's a job well done.
Bob Williams, Kerry Stokes up there. Bob Williams, what a power he's been behind these Wildcats.
Well, he certainly must be enjoying this moment.
The Entertainment Centre then, two great games. On Friday, the Spectres won by 5. Today, the Wildcats have won by 10. It was 90-80. Ricky Grace is moving across towards Neil Poe as Tiny Pinder savours the moment. Neil.
Thank you, Dennis, again. Well, Ricky, how does number 2 feel compared to number 1?
Feels great. I can get used to this, you know. It's a great feeling. My hat's off to Eastside. They played a great 2 games, you know. Everybody wrote them off, but we knew they wouldn't just give us the championship. We had to take it, and that's kind of what we did today.
What was the difference today to Game 2 on Friday, do you think?
Well, Coach Arnold made a couple of great moves that I think caught him off guard. You know, we got off to that really great start. What we did, we switched Pete on to Lucas because Lucas was posting us up a lot, and we put Mike on Lockhart. So that was a great coaching move right there. And also, we changed up our zone offense, you know, because they was expecting us to come out in our same offense as last time. But Coach Arnold, again, revised that offense. We had something totally different and threw them off guard.
Now the Wildcats become the 3rd team in the NBL to win back-to-back titles. What about the first to win 3 in a row?
Well,